Alright, what's up guys? My name is Dane, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the number one thing that you're missing to take better videos on your smartphone. Now this isn't clickbait guys, to be honest, this is something that I had to learn the hard way, so I'm just going to give you guys some crucial tips that really helped me along the way. So first thing that I'm just going to go ahead and say is why you should listen to me is I've been a videographer and a photographer for about 7 years now. I've had like years of experience in the game. And honestly, I've worked with a bunch of brands. I've started producing my own content for YouTube, TikTok. And after doing this for some years, you kind of learn some things. And this crucial tip is something that helped me along the way to pretty much level up my video game like tenfold. And it's actually pretty simple. So the number one thing, guys, drum roll, is to plan your videos. Now, I'm going to actually go into why it's important to plan your videos, and hopefully after watching this video, you understand why you need to plan your videos. All right, so the reason why it's important to plan your videos is this. Lots of times persons just take up their phone and start recording. Now, I think it's really important to start trying, but a lot of times you have to understand that knowing what you're going to do before you actually go out and do it is going to make a world load of difference. That's what really sets apart like high production value and like, just persons that are just shooting randomly, because at the end of the day, you need to have some kind of idea as to what you're going for, what you're aiming to create, setting actual expectations. Because again, like something as simple as, okay, knowing what shots you need to complete your video is going to make a world of difference versus just turning on the camera. Now, I do think it's important to actually go ahead and turn on your camera because that's how you get started. But once you're doing it over and over and you're trying to get more professional looking results, trust me, just knowing what you're doing beforehand makes a crucial level of difference. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I, for a very long period of time, was just, like to just go in there and vibe and just kind of see what looks or turns out great. But honestly, it's better to have some sort of plan, even if the plan doesn't go like exactly the way you want it to go. Trust me, knowing like, for instance, where the sun will be at a certain time of day, knowing what kind of stuff will be at your location, no need for even allowed to shoot at your location. These are the simple things that will change like dramatically how great your video is. And it's not something that you need to purchase. It's not a light. I mean, definitely lights make a difference. But a lot of times persons will just start shooting and not really take into consideration the fact that, okay, I probably should have thought about this beforehand. Probably should have made like contingency plans for certain things going wrong. So now that you know what that crucial step is, I'm going to give you guys some tips for planning your videos in advance. And this planning thing is not only applicable for smartphone videography, it's also going to work for regular videography. But I wanted to give you guys a crucial tip that's going to help anybody at any stage of their career. I mean, if you're already planning, then you could still stick around to see if you can maybe add some additional steps to your planning method. All right, so for my personal planning phase, the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is to think about what you're trying to communicate. That's usually the first thing that I decide before I even start shooting a video. Is this video going to be a tutorial? Is this going to be like as just some cool montagey shots? Is this going to be, what's the message? Am I trying to teach people something? Am I trying to get a point across? Am I trying to let persons feel a particular emotion? That's the first thing I decide before I even go ahead with the video. Because when you have an idea of what you're trying to accomplish, then you can see, okay, it's almost like reverse engineering. So you start with your end goal in mind, and then you go back in time to kind of see, okay, what is it that I need to add to this end goal? What are the steps I need to take to make this end goal possible? So you start with your goal in mind, and then you just keep going back and back until you break it up into small steps. Okay, so once you have your end goal in mind, then you can actually start thinking about your story. So it is what is actually going to be in the content or video itself. So you can decide if it's going to be just abstract shots, if it's going to be a story, and what kind of story structure are you going to follow. You don't have to follow like a strict story structure. It can just be a simple message. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but that's why you need to decide your goal before you start shooting. So as you can see, having an idea of what you want to accomplish before you start shooting just makes it so much easier. So that way you don't have to go in and do 1,000 things before you know what you want. Then now, afterwards, since you have your goal and your story structure, then you can go into the finer details inside of your video. So you can be like, okay, let it take place at this location. Let's have this amount of characters. I want this character to look like this. And again, I'm making this sound a lot more complicated. I mean, if you're just shooting a TikTok video and it's just you only, you can still have an idea of your character and your story. I mean, you can still have an idea of your location. So all these things really and truly is just based on you. You can choose how expansive you want your story to be, or if you just want a small, simple story. So the scope of it is going to be dependent on you, but you just want to know that there's a basic outline. And once you have those things, all you need to do is to just plan out your shots. So a big factor that helped me a lot is understanding that shots don't have to be shot in sequential order. So for instance, if you know that you have to put a certain amount of things inside of your frame, or if you need up, like, let's say for instance, you have some actors that are coming, or you're doing a shot but it has to be done at a certain time of day, you can shoot those shots first. Because you're creating your story, you don't have to shoot it in the order that it happens in the video. You can shoot it in any order. And that's why it's important to know beforehand what you want to accomplish. Because if you were to just shoot everything in the order of the story, you might have to do certain shots twice, or you might have to like end up going over, a setup again. So it's really crucial to know, okay, if I have a group of shots that take place at the same time and that all the actors are there, or I'm the only actor and I'm there, then you'd basically just do all those shots in one go. And then in the editing, you can piece that together. So again, really, really important to have a great, thorough idea of what you're doing before you start shooting. And guys, I can assure you it's gonna level up your videography game for both your smartphone and your regular videography. So like, don't be shy if you're just getting into videos and you think, oh no, I need all this gear. If you were to just spend some time, plan out all your shots, plan out all the things that you need, you're gonna be really surprised as to what you can accomplish with a Android or an iPhone or whatever device that you're using. So if you guys have any questions about any other things that I mentioned in this video, let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, then YouTube says that this video right here is gonna help you on your content creation journey. Thanks.